Hello everybody, welcome. We're here again to talk about the Harry Potter. And this one is The Order of the Phoenix, the 5th book and the 5th film. This is my first time rewatching the film since reading the book. And as you can see, it's a big one. And yes, those who are diehard fans of this particular series and only watch the channel for the Harry Potter videos, apologies, it's been 5 months. However, it did not take me 5 months to read this book, although it is a big one.
It didn't.
I read a couple of other books in between then, The Thursday Murder Club, Drew McIntyre's autobiography. So it was time to finally get back to Harry Potter. My kind of like, so I like to say I'm new to reading. This past year has been like the start of me really making it a goal and a New Year's resolution and stuff. And at the start of the year I said, I'm going to try and read 10 books by the end of 2021. For someone like me, that's a big thing. Rachel's already smashed that. She's read, how many are you on now? 22 or something?
No, I think I've just done 30.
She's done 30 books in 2020.
But to be fair, last year I did 17 and that was like the biggest deal on the planet because I'd never managed that many.
But surely it's like a progression thing, like you're getting better and better every year, and hopefully that's going to be the same for me too. So this is a big book, it's 800 pages, biggest book I've ever read, and I've read the first Mick Foley autobiography.
It's bigger than any book I've ever read as well.
Yeah.
I've never read any.
I've never read Bret Hart's autobiography.
It's the longest book and the shortest film.
Yes, very interesting that, isn't it? Very interesting
Very strange, because you said, I know we'll get into this, but you said that you found it was quite similar to the film, considering the other films and compared to the books, which is interesting considering
it's shorter.
How that worked. Like,
yeah, I did find that really interesting. So my goal was, okay, it was August when I read this, and I said, okay, there's 38 chapters in this book. If I can read 2 chapters a day, right, knowing that my birthday was in August, and I had a wee sort of Edinburgh getaway in August and stuff, I knew I wasn't going to be able to do it every day, but the goal was 2 chapters a day. I'll finish it within the month with a little bit extra to give me leeway and stuff. Didn't quite make my target. It took me about a month and like 4 days. At the start of September I finished it. And I was okay with that because I was doing well with it. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't as if I was like a real chore to do it. One of my most curious things before starting reading this was like, why is it so long? Like, why is it 800 pages? And reading the first 7 or 8 chapters, I understood, because a lot of it is just like, it's very sequential. Like, Harry got up and went down to breakfast. Then Harry did this, then Harry did that. Harry went to bed that night. The next day was Tuesday, Harry got up and went for breakfast. And it was a lot of like that, and that could come across boring, but it didn't feel boring. It didn't strike me, I wasn't like, there wasn't a real urge to go, I need to find out what he does the next day. But there wasn't like, oh god, this is getting really samey, which I thought it might do after a while, because it does change up in certain days. He has really bad days, and he's like a really like, he's really in a bit of a mood and has a tough time in this book. And I was reading a lot of reviews of the book on the Goodreads app, and a lot of people were saying they love this one because it's like different layers to Harry's character. It's not all kind of sunshine and happiness and stuff. He does go through a lot of hard times in this book, and more so in the book, obviously in the film, because there's more time to explain stuff in the book. But I thought it did a really good job of matching up with the film. Do you like this film? This one? Where does it rank in your favourite of the Harry Potters?
I don't know. I don't have an order of like...
An order of the Phoenix?
Obviously Goblet of Fire is my favourite, but that's...
Obviously.
That's like kind of where the order stops. I just love them all. But yeah, obviously I love the film, and I love the characters that are in this film. Like,
we meet Luna in this film.
Meet Luna. I love Luna.
Yes,
so
we
much.
do.
And Sirius is in it, and Remus is in it, and I don't know, you just get a bit of everything. I feel like I do feel like it kind of brings a lot of it together. I
loved more of the relationship developing between Harry and Snape in this film, having those extra lessons with Snape. The development for them going towards more Voldemort content and fighting was really interesting. I did love how Dumbledore like had Harry's back a lot of the time.
Well, we stand Dumbledore's when he walks in and he calls himself his name.
Yeah, he reads all of his different names.
His names are, but he's like Albus, something, Brian.
Dumbledore. Here's the Blu-ray.
I should really know what I don't remember what his names are.
They always show you in these videos or Blu-ray set. Actually, we watched this one on Sky, which was nice. But here we go. I know, show the people what happened at the bottom.
Look at the front of it.
I don't know what's happened. There's
yes.
some blue ink.
We have blue. I can't reach
It's not going to come up, but there's like...
We have blue dye on the bottom.
You can't kind of tell. Somehow I handed Rachel back this book and there was blue ink on the bottom of the book.
I was like, what have you been doing with this book?
No idea.
The spine's broken, the front's all...
Oh, don't make me feel bad. It shows it's been loved. Here's the disc. Just looks the same as every other disc, but there's the Order of the Phoenix one. I thought it did a very good job of matching up a lot of the stuff in the book. Now, I've been critical of the films in these videos because the book explains more stuff. I don't want to be one of those guys.
He's not one of those.
I'm not really, but
he's really not.
sometimes like I'll notice a few things that are missing. There's some big things that are missing, and don't get me wrong, there is a massive thing that's missing from this book to film, which is like Ron taking over in the Hogwarts game and the Quidditch game, and being the keeper and not doing very well, having a hard time, throwing strops at Harry and Hermione. Harry and Hermione going with Hagrid to meet Hagrid's brother, Gwarp.
And Ron wasn't there, but
Ron wasn't there, but is in the film. So that whole story arc of Ron taking over the Quidditch is just not in the film, which is really interesting. But it didn't bother me at all.
I said to you though, you've still got
that might. Yes, that's very true. I'm looking forward.
Kind of develop a bit.
Yeah, I'm looking
it's
forward.
Not exactly the same, but
I'm looking forward to seeing how that's talked about in the book then, because if it's already happened here, you know what I mean?
Yes, I don't know if it's going to be. Like, I don't know if it's a different part.
Yeah.
Because obviously I haven't read the book, so I don't know what you're saying. But
so this is the book with Professor Umbridge. Dolores Umbridge.
I feel like you see the Weasley twins really good in this film as well.
And you love them. You love them in the book.
They do
They're
so
funny.
much more in this. Like,
yeah.
I love them in all of it. I wish they had so much more screen time than they do. But yeah, because I always forget about that. Imagine if that happened in your exam.
Yeah, the Weasley twins is set off all these joke
Umbridge,
tricks
like,
and stuff.
I hate Umbridge, but like that's a good thing. Like, she's such a good character.
She's
like,
a great heel.
I hate her.
Yes.
Oh my god.
She does a great job.
When they're in the office and she's asking Harry questions and she slaps him.
Yes.
Your face, he was like.
I don't think she slaps him in the book. She definitely does a thing like she's in the tension when she's writing. It also only happened once in the film. It happens like for a whole.
No, it happens twice in the film.
Like a whole fortnight or
It
whatever.
does it for Harry and then she makes a whole order.
Yeah, well I'll tell you what, I don't think that I think it's only Harry that does it in the book. And Harry,
there's so many good bits in this film.
And Harry doesn't tell anybody about
I've got a really bad memory, and then when we talk about it, all the stuff comes back to me. I'm like, oh, but this bit.
Oh yes, Dumbledore's Army. Yeah, that's really cool. The DA. That's really cool.
I didn't know it was called that. I just wasn't going to use that word, but yeah.
Yeah, and the kind of mystery room and stuff. That's really cool, and it's nice to see the room of requirements. And it's cool that Harry like being the teacher and doesn't like the idea at first, but really takes to and stuff. Becomes a really good teacher. It's cool seeing Hagrid in this being quite vulnerable because he's going to maybe lose his job and he's been attacked all the time and stuff. That's interesting. It's really nice to see Sirius some more. Are we going to talk about what happens?
I mean, people probably know.
If you're watching this, you probably know what happens. Sad times.
Spoiler alert.
Yes, don't watch the rest of the video if you don't want to know what happens at the end of Order of the Phoenix, but I'm assuming you already know if you're watching this. But the death of Sirius Black, when I was reading it, I didn't believe it to be true. Not because, I mean, Sirius is one of my favourite characters, it's not because I didn't want it to happen. Obviously I didn't want it to happen, but I was just thinking, it's not going to be as simple as that. Bellatrix Lestrange, didn't mention her, she shows up.
I love her, but in a bad way as well. Such a good villain.
Sad seeing Harry's reaction and stuff. I love the way they did it in the film though. All the sound goes out and it goes in slow motion and stuff.
So there's a thing online, right? I don't know if I believe this or not because there's a lot of debate about it. That when they filmed it, Daniel Radcliffe's scream was so like horrible that they muted it in the film because they didn't want to have that in.
Really?
But I don't know how true that is, but a lot of people say it's true.
But do you not think the mute adds such a big effect to it?
Well, exactly, maybe that's why they did it.
But surely if it was really horrible, the fact that his godfather died, they should keep it in. Or maybe it was like, maybe their voice cracked.
I also think, I know you don't really know, think much about this, but the fact that they used it as Lupin, that is holding Harry back, is so clever because Sirius and Remus were best friends for so long.
Yeah.
From when they were kids and stuff, and the closest. So it's nice that they used him as it was
yes,
clever.
that was cool. There's a long part of the book talking about when they look back to Snape's worst fear or worst memory, and they show a kind of youth, and they show that James, Harry's dad, has been a bit of a bee to Snape and stuff and bullying him and stuff like that, which is not nice, and Harry can't really comprehend that. I feel as if they skipped over it a little bit. They show it in a kind of weird, because Harry looks into Snape's mind and stuff and manages to see wee snippets here and there. I thought it would be longer. There's a whole bit where Snape leaves his office and Harry finds out when he leaves and stuff, but in the book. But I like how they still had it in the film, but it could have been a little bit more, I think. But other than that, I think the film does a brilliant job of transferring over from the book. So one of my favourite of the Harry Potter films, it would probably be in my top 3, along with Prisoner of Azkaban and Goblet of Fire, but I do love... In fact, I love them all. I don't know what I'm talking about. There's only 5 of them. My top 5 are the 5 I've watched. But
Not
yeah,
only
there you
5,
go.
we've only seen 5 of them.
Yeah, and I've only read 5 of them. So I'm taking a wee Harry Potter break just now because I've got so many new books, which is great because I've become a reader. And I'm going to be reading... I've got 4 more. I'm currently working on 1. And then 3 after that to go for the rest of the year. And then I will start... I'm planning on Half-Blood Prince being my first book of 2022. So that'll be fun.
Fun.
But yeah, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Great success.
Now we need to write this back in the box set.
Yeah, also you should have rubbed in your ones that you got.
Yes.
You want to get them?
No.
Okay. Never mind then.